Hey guys, Ronan Will. Today we are going to be painting some of the Star Trek Away Mission expansion pack figures. This is going to be Captain Kirk. So it's been a while since I've done one of these painting videos. So first thing we're going to do is, well, we're going to go over the game and stuff like that, and then maybe do some facts about the characters and whatnot. Right now I started by painting just Necro Cloak on the boots. Oh, sorry, black on the boots, Necro Cloak on the pants. And yeah, we'll go from there. It's like I said, guys, it's been a long time since I've painted anything on screen, so I do apologize if I am not quite in the center there. Okay, so Away Mission is actually, it's interesting. This expansion pack that I'm using is actually the third human pack in the set. But you two stop! It's the third human pack in the set, and it is the, well, obviously the classic Star Trek characters of Kirk, Bones, Chekhov, and Spock. So, we're going to go over each character in each episode, and just a little bit of backstory. So I did some desert yellow for the shirt. Now my desert yellow is getting a little clumpy, so I water it down with some flow improver. These are all from Army Painter. As you can see, it is a lot more liquidy now that I added that flow improver. Alright, so this game is it's advertised as a 2-player game. I believe technically you could have 4 players, 2 controlling the crew of the Enterprise or the Federation, and 2 playing as the group that's attacking the Enterprise. There's a couple of different factions that they have already. They have Klingons, Klingons, Romulans, and Borg, as well as, of course, the expansion of classic Star Trek characters, as you can see. So I have not actually gotten to play this game yet. It is actually these are figurines for the game that I bought for my father for Christmas this past year, and we got most of the expansions for it, and so we figured we'd for any holiday or birthday or whatever, we were going to give him some more of them. So yeah, that's where this is coming from. Alright, so I know next we go with a little bit of Wolf Gray, because the phasers are actually a weird gray, like a bluish gray color, and as well as we'll do some black, some Wolf Gray, and some gunmetal. I do apologize again that I am off camera there. Again, trying to get back into the swing of things on how to do it. So we used Wolf Gray and some plate mail, sorry, not gunmetal. Excuse me. And we're just doing the the flooring. I kind of tried to base this off of the actual like carpeted metallic look of the Enterprise. So right now this is all, it's interesting. They textured the ground, but they textured it to look almost like carpeting, so that's why I'm doing this there. And then let's see, what is our next color? It's going to be a little bit more of the Necro Cloak to finish up their little what is that called? I wanted to say cuff. It's not a cuff. The top of the shirt. We do some black for the top of the phaser, which, interesting enough, actually comes out of the bigger part there. So like, sorry, not in the miniatures, obviously, but in the model that I've had before, they actually come out. It comes out, so you have a little handheld phaser, and then you have the big phaser that he's holding. In his other hand is his tricorder or communicator. Sorry, I'm more of a next generation person, so back, you know, I'm used to certain things in that. Anyway, then we go back with the plate mail, just to add a few little highlights. I was looking at a reference here. Apparently there are a few sections where it's just like silver running across the sides like that. So next we use that was actually gold. Yeah, that was gold. I'm doing a few touch-ups, but it's supposed to be for their... Oh, sorry, this is bronze. It's for the top of the communicator, which flips open. You really can't see the inside of the communicator, so I kind of just cheesed it and went with a solid metallic color inside. Again, you can't really see it at any real good angle, even in person. So now we take a little bit of gold, and he has cufflinks, essentially. So I was not very careful when I first did this. And so there are raised cuffs on the arms, which it seems to be showing rank, essentially. So because he has 3 on each arm, Spock has 2, Bones has 2, and Chekhov has none. So I think that's what the point of that was. Kirk is an interesting character here because a couple of different things with him. So the first thing that I found is that he actually was played by a total of 5 different actors or actresses over the years. Of course, everybody knows the main character. The main actor was William Shatner, who played the original. Although I do remember, and I can't remember the name of the actor, and I could not for the life of me figure out where his name was put, but William Shatner was not the original Kirk. The original Kirk was an actor for the pilot episode. He looks very different. Oh, real quick, so that was Stone Brown, and then we're using some new paints here for skin tones. They're interesting. They don't really rely on shaders like the Army Painter does. Although I guess technically Army Painter doesn't rely on shaders. It's just I rely on the shaders. So the idea is to go with the darkest skin tone first and then build up off of that. But because of the nature of using shaders on the rest of the hand, the rest of the body, I end up having to like redo the hands a couple of times, and the face by that matter. But we're almost done with the base coating, which is kind of nice. I finish up, so on the back here you'll see there is a raised plate with his name on it for people who do not know who each character is, or if I guess you're really not that good at painting, or you don't paint the characters, you know exactly who they are. Anyway, and I'm off camera. Sorry guys. That is just some metal plate that I just kind of cover the whole little raised section there. And then I go over the raised lettering with Wolf Gray again. So, yeah, Wolf Gray, and then I end up later on switching it to electric blue, just to bring up the contrast. But that is his base coating pretty much done. I'm going to go and give a little bit of a cleanup around the edges and on the outer edge of the stand, which is like the most pointless thing because I'm going to paint the entire outer edge later on. And then just a few more touch-ups on Kirk here, just to make sure that the paint is fully covering him. Alright, and then I end up, once we're done here, I'm going to switch over and use a strong tone. So there he is. A little bit of, oh, have to get those eyebrows. He always needs his eyebrows. I use a smaller brush just to get a little bit more accuracy there. But there we go. Now we're using the dark tone. And this kind of just goes over everything as soon as everything is dry. And then I can repaint over stuff to give it more of a depth. So, where was I? Oh yeah, so the very first actor who was only in the pilot episode, I could not find his name. After that, William Shatner was the original Captain Kirk. And then in a single episode, there is a whole scene or a whole section of the episode where it looks like, let's see, Kirk gets body swapped, and Sandra Smith ends up playing Kirk, like the body that Kirk got switched into. So that's interesting. Apparently it was like episode 5 of the first season. Spock-a-muck. I don't know. I've started watching some of the original series, but I never really got that far. Then, of course, we have Chris Pine, who was from the more recent movie series. And, of course, before that, when we had young James T. Kirk, we have Jimmy Bennett. And last but not least, we have Paul Wesley. In the Star Trek Strange New Worlds series, which I don't think I've ever watched. Huh. Interesting. But yeah, so let's go over some basics on Kirk, because at this point it's just touch-ups now and making everything nicey nice, you know? Alright, so James T. Kirk is the original captain of the Starship Enterprise. The original Starship Enterprise, because, well, original not including the Enterprise series. Star Trek gets weird, guys. It gets complicated. But James T. Kirk is the captain, and he ends up, let's see here. He is, I'm sure you've heard the whole opening crawl to Star Trek of the original Star Trek. They had a, what is it, 7-year journey? First, yeah, and to, you know, boldly go where no one has gone before, etc., etc. William Shatner first appears in 1966, the Man Trap in the original series, and then he's Kirk from 66 to 94, so he plays Kirk for a long time. And so let's see, Captain Kirk himself, of course, captained the original U.S. Enterprise according to, you know, the documentation on the thing, and then he also was the captain of the USS Enterprise A-A. Basically, Enterprise gets blown up, and he gets it back. It happens a lot in Star Trek that the Enterprise gets destroyed and replaced with the Enterprise. Again, coming from somebody who prefers Next Generation, they are on Enterprise E, just in case, like, it seems ridiculous. So with these highlights, sorry, I'm just looking back here. With these highlights, I ended up mixing in some ash gray with the Necrocloak. And then the final stage is just pure ash gray to get that nice highlight. So I'm touching up here. I have some lost footage, which I could not find, of doing the shirt and several other sections. I do apologize for that. It's the nature of shooting on like multiple days on multiple stages. So this is doing the hands now. So first, again, just like my traditional way, I use the base tone that I used, and now I'm moving up by one color. These paints are very dramatically different in shading or in coloring from each other. So, and then I'm just trying to get the most raised spots to kind of give it that coloring. I'm still more of a cell shading fan, so my stuff does not really do well with this new style of paint. But it's an interesting thing to test out. So let's see here. Come on. Yeah, so I had to mix up some paints just to try and balance out the coloring. It gets very light very quickly. So, of course, Kirk is pretty much the main character of Star Trek in the first generation. It's interesting. There's a story that I found that was about Kirk and Spock. Since they kind of had the same amount of airtime, they were, talking back and forth and everything. And there was a scene where Spock ends up. So there's one scene where he ends up losing a dialogue that goes to Kirk instead, as well as there's a couple of times where Spock will just like grunt or whatever type, like that type of reaction. And that is mostly because Kirk had it in his contract that nobody can have more lines than him in the show, in an episode. So he actually had the most lines. I keep saying Kirk. It's not Kirk. It's Shatner. So I'm still learning these paints, so I did not like how bright white his face became when I did the highest highlights. I guess technically I should do it for like the most raised areas on him, but I ended up mixing the lightest color with the rest of the palette that I was working on to give him more of a balanced skin tone. But yeah, that was I don't know. The paints are interesting. This is the hard part, is getting the eyes. He's got bigger eyes than some of the other miniatures, like the Star Wars miniatures that I was painting. But to be completely honest, they're still very tiny. They're not like anime eyes. So here's just a few touch-ups I'm doing. The hair, that hair is just such a pain in the ass. I have to go back over it with the stone brown. And now this is me trying to just do the eyes. And then I also did some highlighting to get the hair a couple of different shades so it looks better. I put way too much on the eye, so I have to now touch up the surrounding skin. But for the most part, that is Kirk pretty much finished. We're going to finish it up here with a dry brushing on the hair off camera because, bad. I'm really bad at this. Anyway, and then we should be finishing up by just forgot, Kirk's hair was like bugging the hell out of me. So I did so many different layers of highlights. These are just little touch-up things that I'm trying to clean up. There we go. And now we're going, yeah, so this is the electric blue instead of the wolf gray on the name, as well as around the edge of the base. This is something, if you guys have watched my other miniatures, well, have I actually done, you know what, I don't think I actually have done too many miniatures that have their bases attached to them. I should do a video on just finishing those miniatures bases. But a lot of the miniatures we will paint the coloring of their team, squad, whatever you want, around the outer edge. So this way you at least know the basics on, like, oh, well, this is part of the Republic or Federation and all that. But there he is. That is a very blurry zoom in on Kirk, but it's not too bad, considering it's been a couple of months since I've actually painted anything. But yeah, the face really does not look like Shatner at all. But other than that, I think it's not too far off from where I wanted to be with him. That yellow, let me tell you, yellow is the worst paint to work with. But alright guys, till next time, run well. Later.